Well, hello there. This is your co-host, Steve. Welcome to the Plain Donuts podcast, you little donut holes. Enjoy the show. All right, we're good.
Good.
A big sniffle right in the beginning.
So good.
Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to Plain Donuts podcast. I'm your co-host, Steve.
I'm your co-host, Alicia, and that's the first time in a long time that we've introduced ourselves within like the first 30 seconds.
I know. Congratulations if this is your first time listening. You get to know who we are right away.
Right away. Steve
what?
is a programmer.
Oh, geez. Are we like...
And I work in advertising.
Oh, geez. The whole bio for the new listeners.
That's all you need to know about us.
I have pink eye.
Steve might have pink eye, and I'm going to put this scarf over my eyes.
I'm not sure if it's true or not.
You might have pink eye.
I haven't been going into the office. I've been working from home.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I don't want to share my pink eyes with anybody.
That's true. It's like super contagious.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I'm so nervous that you guys are here.
I'm sitting pretty far away from you.
I know, and you have been. You've been actively avoiding me.
Yeah.
While at the same time, like, trying to be so awkward about the things you say to me.
A moment ago, I told Steve I was going to lick his pink eye. So
it's so weird for you to say that. And it's so true.
Steve's moving the mic closer to me because I'm physically as far away as possible sitting in this chair. But I kind of...
It's okay. I
can rotate.
I always up the volume a little bit and lower the volume. It's a little weird. I just kind of normalize everything so that it doesn't blow people's ears out and so they can hear it. So that's the plan.
Yay, post-production.
Yeah, that's why we don't do this live.
Holla.
We want you to hear it
in
a nice fashion.
Except for when we do a live recording, which is on the 10th.
We have one on the 10th coming up at FireCon. If you're in the Layton area, go to FireCon. It's a cool festival of art and fantasy writing and science fiction and
fun stuff.
I saw some guy there this week. He's a presenter. His bio's like, I've been doing weapons since I was 5 years old. Or whatever. Yeah. He does weapons. I don't know exactly what that means. He makes stuff. He has a YouTube channel.
Oh, is it like one of those Masters of Iron Reforged or something like that?
No, it's mostly just like talking about knives and guns and stuff. And like he made like a Otto, our producer's really excited, but he made like a big like pouch that looks like a pool cue holder, and he's like, there's a knife in there.
Did he show you the knife?
Yeah.
I thought he just
in the
was
video.
Like, in here is a knife, but he doesn't actually show you.
They go through like what all is in there. He has some whetstones and stuff.
I think that'd be kind of funny.
I don't remember the guy's name. You have to go to FireCon to find out.
Bum bum, and see us, and hang out with us at 6:30.
6 o'clock is what they said.
Just kidding. You're gonna be late. If
so
you're there at 6:30.
In case you're wondering, we're gonna set up at 5:30 and start at 6. Really hoping people are like done with dinner and stuff at that time and they actually want to come to a fun, entertaining podcast recording. I'm so nervous. I'm only a little bit nervous.
Yeah. It'll be kind of an interesting format just because I'm imagining in my head we're going to be sitting on the same side of the table facing out, which will be new.
Or we could like it doesn't really matter how we set it up.
We could be like this and
we could set it up across from each other.
Yeah. And then the audience is going to be like to your left, my right, or vice versa.
Yeah.
If we want to really mix it up, because I never thought about this, but I always sit on the same side, and you always sit on the same side. But it makes sense because you got to get access to the computer super easy. So there you go.
So we'll have to figure that whole thing out. I'll probably have to bring this mic set up and everything. Just so we can get a good recording, because they're like, we can't record for you, and I'm like, that's okay. Yeah. We can figure it out.
I'm curious about the room noise too, because I'm sure people are going to be coming in and out and stuff.
I hope not
asking
too much.
Us questions.
That's the one thing that I am concerned about is the questions.
Yeah, because people have to ask questions, and we'll have to repeat the question. And, we can make it a gag. Yeah. Just a fun gag. And we can say whatever we want, like they secretly asked us, like, are you two in a relationship? And then we'll say, oh, you're wondering about our relationship with our pets? Great question. Alicia and I are in an open relationship. And by that we mean that
we don't have a relationship romantically with each other, and we allow each other to have romantic relationships with other people. That being our spouses.
Yeah. We're really open about our open relationship. Yeah.
Alicia, I'm not jealous of you at all.
I'm not jealous of you either, Steve. We're so not jealous of each other.
So it's going to be fun. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it should be really fun. We've never done anything like that before. So, if you have done a podcast recording at a convention, let us know what the experience was like.
Tell us. I think we should like plan a little bit of an order.
Yeah.
But I don't know. People like when I ask people about I don't really ask people about it. When people talk about when they listen to the podcast, they say they like our tangentialness.
Yeah.
That's not a word. Our tangentiality.
Transcendentiality.
Transcendental tangents. Whoa, that's really hard to say.
Yeah. Say that 5 times fast, Steve.
Anyway, so I'm like, maybe we shouldn't like try and infringe on our tangents very much, but I don't know. I think the fact that we take questions will be good because
it'll be interesting because we'll definitely have to reintroduce ourselves and talk about ourselves a little bit. So, what do you think you're gonna say? Pretend I'm a random person asking. All right, Steve, tell me 3 things about yourself.
I'm Steve. For a living, I write computer programs. Well, software for the internet mostly. I have too many hobbies. And I have a podcast called Plain Donuts.
Nice.
That was 4 total things. Yeah. One of them was my name.
Your name, yeah.
No, I think what we should do is, I really want to get the audience all amped up. So I think we should, either introduce each other in, sort of a stadium kind of way. So I'll have you run up from the back or something,
and then
as I
we'll have a
you.
soundboard, and you can play.
Oh yeah, you're all.
I need to get that ready in case there's a moment where I need to play that.
Wouldn't it be amazing if we did have a soundboard?
Oh, that would be cool.
I want that. But PewDiePie just got one, and so everyone would just be like, "Oh, you're just like PewDiePie, only later."
We don't need that negativity in our lives. Yeah, we don't need that, huh?
Otto's very competitive with PewDiePie, apparently.
He's giving some crude gestures over there.
He's like, this podcast is better than PewDiePie all day.
And it's a good thing that this is a family-friendly podcast because you can't see his crude gestures.
I know. See? This is why we don't do it live.
Yeah. Just
Sorry.
what's his face? O'Reilly?
Can we just start the episode with a nice, relaxing scream in agony?
If you go for it.
No, my eyeballs are just bothering me.
Your eye is pretty red now that I'm actually really looking at it.
This one?
This
side? This side.
Yeah, that one's pretty red.
It's starting to itch.
Inflamed. Yeah.
I just took some ibuprofen because I noticed that it's weird because it's not ibuprofen's it's medicine for your pain.
Yeah.
But it's literally just medicine to lessen inflammation, and so I'm maybe it'll work, and I think so far it has helped.
Yeah.
And when it wears off, my eyeballs are just hey, it's time to scratch all day and put your poison on everyone. And I'm
Was your eye super swollen? Have you ever experienced that before? Because I didn't have pink eye. I had what was called conjunctivitis brought on by hay fever, which is the scientific name for pink eye.
Yeah, so conjunctivitis is the name of pink eye, but it's it can come in various different ways. So I've been reading a lot.
Yeah. Mine was, I had just had LASIK surgery a couple weeks beforehand, and I was getting really freaked out because it was getting underneath, because they cut a flap in your eyeball essentially before they do LASIK, and it was kind of around where they had cut into my eyeball, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go blind in my eyeball, I'm gonna have to wear an eye patch, maybe that'll be kind of cool, I don't know. I wasn't sure what was happening, so I went back and you just have conjunctivitis from hay fever, and these are the things, but it hurt real bad, and it was so... it was puffy. My eye was puffy. I don't know how to describe it, but it was kind of freaky. So got some leaky eyeball action going on. But is it in both of your eyes, you said? Or
it started out in my left eye, and then it migrated to my right eye yesterday. And so, and my left eye was being less this is gross. It was being less active or oozy. Whatever. Wasn't itching as much and stuff. And then my right eye started fading with that same stuff like today. So I was like, okay, I think it's passing. And now, just tonight, I'm like, ah!
Do you have allergies at all? Do you think that's like could
I
be
think
irritating?
That might be part of it.
Like the pollen?
I've been taking Claritin D for the last couple days. That might have helped. I don't know.
You could crush it up and then like rub your eye in it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
It sounds like a nice, some sweet relief. Sweet relief.
Oh, jeez.
That's another thing. During my LASIK surgery, they give you like these eye numbing drops, which work like instantly. Eyeballs are so weird in the fact that like whatever you do to them, are just like, yes, like this is happening right, like immediately right now, and we're gonna be irritated or whatever about it. And
that's why people drop acid in their eyes.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
It's really weird, but yeah, after they put the numbing in my eye, they put iodine over, like, on a sponge thing. And they literally had me hold open my eye while they rubbed it on my eye. And it was weird, like, you know.
Could your eye, like, move and stuff?
Yeah, it was like...
But it was numb?
It was numb, yeah. It was
but just you could, like, move your eye around and see and stuff?
Mm-hmm. It was weird.
Could you see while they were doing the LASIK on your eyeball?
Yeah, you have to look at like a blinking light.
They're like, look at this light.
Yeah, and
do not look anywhere but at that light.
It's weird because you have to. It's dependent on you and your calmness to like make sure you focus on something. And so I wasn't really good at that because the doctor got really mad. He's like, hold still, hold still, hold still, hold still, like progressively getting like really irritated with me because I was like. Because you're not strapped, your head's not even strapped down or anything. They just have a suction cup, like, kind of on your whole eyeball to, like, isolate it.
He's like, you're going to make yourself go blind.
Yeah, so it was
And then
weird.
Otto's like, that's what my mom used to say. Yeah. Get it? Family friendly.
Family friendly.
I can't go any further with that joke.
You gotta look that up by yourself if you wanna, and we're not responsible for what you find on the internet, so don't try it.
Can you imagine if somebody tried to make us responsible for what somebody found on the internet?
Like, my son Billy searched what you talked about on that podcast of yours one day.
And they're like blaming us, and we're like, have you ever looked at the internet?
Have you ever looked at the internet? Ever for one
thing? You can't help it. You can't help but fall into terrible holes of like people dying, and you're like, I don't want to see. I didn't want this in my life. All the like really detailed pictures of my conjunctivitis that I've been taking are going to be on the internet. Just kidding. I haven't taken any detailed pictures.
Oh, what? I wanted to see some progress pics, bro.
Gross. I just can't. I can't.
It's like getting more goopy and more red.
So we recorded. When did we record? Thursday?
Thursday, yeah.
It hasn't been that long since we last recorded.
Yeah, it's been kind of I don't know, ever since I got back, it's just been kind of weird series of events. So.
Yeah, did anything weird happen since the last time we talked?
No, not really. Just kind of more, like Steve explained in the last ending of the podcast. My car is not totaled, so that's a relief, but it was really, really close to getting totaled.
Really?
So, yeah.
How long are they going to take to repair it?
They said it should be done, like, by the 30th, or, like, the week after that, so we'll see. Ooh. I've been getting text messages, it's kind of weird, from, like, the Honda body shop, and they're like, hey, we're working on your suspension right now, or we're working on getting this tire for you. I'm like, cool, man. Like, I don't... I guess it's kind of interesting, but I'm not the type of person that's like, oh, I must know, like, what exactly happening.
Was there any part of you that was like, man, I hope they total my car so I can get a new one?
I don't know. I was kind of 50-50, actually, because I really like my little car. It's just a Honda Civic. It's like my mom car. I'm not a mom, but I like to call it my mom car, so it's just a fun little car that gets me point A to point B, and I've had it for a while, so I didn't want to have like another newer car that I would have to like keep making more payments on, I guess, so I'm kind of glad that it was not.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I'm pretty close to paying like this car off.
That would be baller if you could get your car paid off.
I would be so stoked. So, do you have one car or do you have two cars?
One car. We have one car that's
one car
not...
life?
It's hardly even very close at all to being paid off, but we're working on it. We're working towards paying it off. Yeah, I'm like, I feel like I'm Ethan Klein over here making all these faces with my eyes. That's a YouTube joke. H3H3 Productions. Sorry.
Wasn't there another actor that blinked a lot. It kind of reminded me of that actor.
I don't know.
Maybe it was like Neo in the Matrix. Maybe
apparently Ethan actually has Tourette's syndrome.
Oh.
So he
Sorry, we didn't mean to make that joke.
No, I don't care. He would just laugh.
Yeah, does that because you said that you don't want to blink. Does blinking make it more itchy or less itchy?
Like if I blink really hard, it kind of feels good for a second, as if I was scratching it, and so
you don't want to rub it. Huh?
I don't want to. No, I don't want to rub it because then it'll be on my hands.
Yeah. And then you rub it into my eyes. That's what happens every time I come over to Steve's house. Is he takes his fingers and he literally puts them in my eyeballs. Yeah. First thing.
Every time.
And so when he opened the door, I had slap his hands away. No, not today.
I've been aching to put my hands in her eyeballs since that moment.
Since last Thursday. Just been thinking about it.
I think I got it at church. I think some kid or something must have had it.
Some kid was rubbing their pink eye, and nose and eyeball and just rubbed it on your...
I mean, I don't know how else I could have gotten it. Have you ever seen Knocked Up?
Yeah.
There's that scene in Knocked Up where they all got pink eye because some guy farted on some other guy's pillow or something, and that was the whole thing.
Oh, gross.
I don't think that's how I got pink eye. I mean...
I heard about someone...
Everybody likes their own brand, but I don't like it enough to fart it onto my pillow.
What was it? I'm trying to remember. I won't say their name, but I think it was a friend of mine. She mentioned that her baby, pooped on her face.
Oh no!
And then that's how she got pink eye. I was like, that is literally the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. First of all, you have a child. Second of all, that child pooped directly onto your face, projectile, and then you got pink eye from that. That's just...
the people that are into scat stuff
play.
Yeah, and I'm sure they
There's got to be some sort of hygiene system that you go through.
I have no idea. I just wonder if those circles are just riddled with pink eye and stuff.
What if they wear goggles?
No. I can't do a shoot for the next couple weeks. I gotta take care of these eyeballs.
That
would be weird. Oh, man.
Gross. Don't look that up. Avoid that.
Please don't look that up.
I know that's gonna make you want to look it up, but just don't. Don't look it up. It's really gross.
There was a... Have you ever seen Prison Break?
Mm-mm.
I watched a few seasons of it. There's this one guy in one season where he's I can't remember the term for it because I'm not very kinky, but where you are under a glass table and then have you ever heard of this procedure where you get under a glass table as a man and you have some lady do her business on the table above you.
So it's squished up against the table.
Yeah, that was part of a scene on Prison Break, and I was like, "This is primetime TV on Fox." They didn't actually do it or show anything like that, but he was like, "I'm gonna get her to do that for me," and I was like, "What?" It's gross, man.
Whoa.
There's all kinds of gross stuff out there in the world if you want to look for it.
Man, I mean...
It is good to be alive.
Who am I to say what someone will do with another consenting human person?
Who am I to say? You can do whatever you want, I guess. I don't know.
Not my kink.
Oh, man. Why did we go down this path?
I don't know.
Why did we have a Not My Kink segment?
Yeah, that's a pretty good segment. It's not, definitely not a weekly segment, but it does happen occasionally.
Occasionally we just talk about stuff we're not into.
We're not my kink.
Gross.
Sorry.
So, yes, since I think
Sunday?
the only thing that's happened to me since we talked last is that I got pink eyes.
Yeah.
And I haven't I've been working, but not going to work. I'm working from home.
Yeah.
I got 2 phones. Do you remember that song?
Pink eyes.
Yeah.
One for the plug and one for the...
Gross!
I'm sorry!
The way that you said that sounded so gross.
Sorry, you might have to bleep that out.
No, it's okay. It's a rap song. You didn't say the whole words.
Ugh, I'm sorry.
How did you get... Anyway, oi. I don't know.
Oy vey.
Oy vey.
Oy vey. Should we go to our questions?
I guess so. Asked? What's the So would you say, of the two big events that happened in your life most recently, that being your car accident and your trip to Ireland, which do you feel was more formative?
Oh, jeez. Unfortunately, probably my car accident.
Oh,
that's
man.
Like the first... I've never been in an accident before. I've never done anything like...
You've never even been in one accident before?
No, nothing, yeah.
Not while someone else was driving or anything?
Yeah, nothing like that.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, this is really awful.
That's crazy.
I made a joke on Twitter, and my aunt didn't like it. I said, BOGO, buy one car accident, get one case of anxiety free.
I get it.
And she's like, what happened? Apparently, my dad didn't tell her that I was in the accident. And so, she, called me out in this family group chat. She's like, I learned from Twitter that Alicia was in the car accident. I'm like, Aunt, why are you calling me out like this? It's harsh. But my cousins, they were like, oh, man, that was really harsh.
Throwing some hard shade.
Some shade, but I'm her favorite, so I don't know why she's shading me.
Was she shading you or your dad?
Ooh, you know what? That's a good question. It might have just been my dad, so...
We just had a pretty serious dog snore happen.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I think you might be able to hear it on the recording.
I'm looking back at Wednesday, and she's out. Looks like kind of, when you see animals at the side of the road after they've been hit by a car, that's really bad, but that kind of what it reminds me of a little bit. Just the deers that are on the side of the road.
Here we have the North American bear dog in her natural environment.
So cute. Such a cute environment.
She's a bear dog. Bat. She's a bear dog.
Fact.
Bat
That
thing.
is.
We bought her... She was she's half Shih Tzu, half Pomeranian.
Half bear, half dog.
Yeah, and oh no, you woke her up, Otto.
I
Jeez.
woke her up and she's being so cute.
Look how worried she is now.
Oh,
she's gonna come
over and snuggle.
Oh,
cute.
Oh, now
yeah.
I wish we were doing the podcast live on video.
Do you guys want us to live?
You want us
Facebook Live someday?
We should someday.
I think it would be kind of funny.
It'd be cool. It would be nice if we had a space for the podcast, that we didn't have to, because this space is just our office, right? And we move stuff around all the time and whatever. But it'd be nice if we had a space for it where we didn't have to set it up and down every week.
Yeah, that would be great. Nice.
Then we could do it however we wanted, and we could Facebook Live it. We could get some new microphones and get minorly famous on the internet, and people will ask us to come to conferences instead of us asking to go to conferences. Like PodCon.
Yeah.
I still have to send them that email, but I'm waiting on you.
I'm waiting on me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't want to send them our
most recent episode.
Well, I just don't want to send them to our website without having a consistent image flow, if that makes sense. Because each of our, if this is your first time on the podcast, each episode gets its own episode image. Yeah. But Alicia's behind on them right now. It's because you have a job outside of this. I don't blame you. I don't blame you, dog.
You got a job too. Why do we have to have such complicated lives?
I don't know. That's the way of the world, I think. Things are complicated and they don't get any less complicated. And then, your country votes weirdly and you're like, is this real life now?
And then I was telling Steve this earlier, I just like to pretend that my country didn't vote the way that it did and it's just all fake and it's just, sort of... a Half-Life.
Have you
Second Life
thing.
On
Rick and Morty where they're watching TV from different realities?
Yep, that's exactly what I think. I'm like, that's a weird reality that totally does not seem like my reality.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like real life in any way.
In my reality, Justin Trudeau is president over every country ever, and Angela Merkel is just kind of chilling. And
he's president and she's prime minister.
Yeah.
and that just works.
Yeah, and Obama's just chilling and George W. Bush is in there too, even just painting pictures, and I'm like, this is a great life.
And George W. Bush never went to a really horrific war or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds nice.
Sounds like a nice reality.
There was an Onion, I think it was The Onion. It might have been Clickhole, but they're related. Anyway, there was an article that came out after George Bush started coming out with his paintings, right? That the headline was some Iraqi child ghost haunts all of George Bush's paintings, and so like he couldn't paint a painting without this Iraqi ghost in it. It's so bad.
So like every painting you like see it in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's just this little this ghost child in the painting.
Oh my God. Bad. It's very bad.
I don't know. President's a hard job.
Yeah, man. I would not want that job. I have no desire to be president of the United States.
Okay, so if somebody walked up to me like a year ago, a year and a half ago, before like Trump announced his presidency or anything, and said like, okay, so here's what's crazy, like a reality star is gonna become the president of the United States. Yeah. I'd be like Bruce Jenner or something, and they'd be like, no, man. Not quite. That's not quite Bruce Jenner's path, buddy.
I would honestly have gone to like, is Arnold Schwarzenegger gonna like go for the presidency?
But he can't because he's not a natural citizen.
Natural citizen?
I think you have to be born in the USA.
Really? Because he was the governor, so does that not like qualify?
Yeah, you can be a governor, but presidency has a little bit of
very specific qualifications.
Yeah, I think you have to be born in the US. I think. I'm not totally sure about that.
Like even what if you're like born overseas, and then like I guess Ted Cruz could be president because he was running for president.
You can't be a serial killer and the president.
Steve knows that's like my favorite meme was Ted Cruz being the Zodiac killer.
Yeah.
And occasionally it'll still pop up and it makes me laugh every time because it's so funny because of the ridiculousness of it, and also because a lot of Florida thought that he was the Zodiac killer.
It's pretty great. So you're like, okay, so a reality star is going to be the president. I'd be like, I guess I can see that. Certain reality stars might make it. And they're like, it's Donald Trump.
You're like, no.
And I'm like, what? Like he's going to like fire people? You're fired or whatever.
But he did. He totally did that to the FBI dude.
I know, James Comey. And so I'd be like, he's going to just like do the firing thing? And they're like,
I mean, maybe I would pay more attention to the news if that was like how it was. Like the apprentice became like the, what do they call it? The executive branch or whatever.
I see.
And so it's like that, and then everyone sits around the table, and then he like fires someone like every couple of weeks or whatever, and then Sean Spicer's in it just like hiding in the bushes somewhere.
Yeah. So I think I'd be like, I don't think that doesn't seem realistic. Like Donald Trump, the president, I don't think our country would go that way. And then if you said, and there's like weeks and weeks of scandal about him possibly colluding with Russia to become the president, what? I'd be like, you are making things. How
is this the plot to a '90s like action movie? Like, what is this? Yeah.
Donald Trump, the guy from Home Alone, Lost in New York. Yeah. Anyway. It's weird. We live in a weird world.
It is weird. It's not like Mad World. It's just
some people
world.
Love him.
Yeah.
There was like a.
I kind of like watching the memes of people who love Donald Trump, just because they're like kind of, I don't know, like alternate reality. Whoa, dogs are fighting back here.
Oh, they're playing.
Oh, in my reality, dogs don't ever fight with each other.
They're not fighting. They're actually playing.
Oh, that's so cute.
They so rarely play like this. I don't want to stop them. Let's pause the podcast for a minute and
stop and
just let the dogs play.
Yeah, watch the dogs. More dogs.
Anyway, they're done.
Oh, that was real cute.
They're both too fat to play for very long.
I wish we could insert like a brief video clip of the dogs playing.
Oh man,
they've been so cute. Our podcast would get like 1 billion downloads.
Oh man, so many.
Included,
look at these dogs playing in this middle of the podcast.
Yeah. Hashtag podcast.
I feel like
podcasting. Hashtag cute dogs. Hashtag doggos. Hashtag puppers. Hashtag dogs.
Melissa said, "Lol." Hashtag podcasting. PAWD. Oh, jeez. So clever. Cute. So stupid.
Love it.
So anyway, thank you for disrupting my slide into oblivion, dogs.
Yeah. Maybe it was for the best.
Yeah.
Right when they sensed it, like, no, we can't go this way.
We can't go this route.
We promised ourselves not to.
Too much policy. Actually, I saw this thing that was really funny. Like, there was an article that, or a front page of some newspaper that it's like 7 days before Richard Nixon resigned, and it had some people holding up this sign that was like, "We like Dick," or whatever, because Richard Nixon. So like even then, his fans were like, "We still like this guy," you know. And he's like, "Little do you know, I've been involved in some really seedy scandals."
Yeah. And then we're gonna use the word "gate" to cover every scandal for the rest of time, because that makes sense.
Yeah, everything is a gate.
Yeah, everything is gate. What, Gamergate?
Gamergate.
I'm trying to think of some other ones.
Watergate was the original.
OG. I think now they're calling it like Russiagate now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So dumb. I don't know. That's one of the things that just really annoys me. Like, let's come up with some new names, you guys.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Well, and Irexit. You got mad about Irexit on the last podcast. Oh, yeah, I was mad about that. Like, come up with your own original content. We're some OC guys. Come on. Yeah. Have better content, countries.
Countries' content sucks.
I never want to go to Saudi Arabia. Their content sucks. That's amazing. Okay. So you would say your accident was the most formative thing. We've talked recently about accidents a lot. Like, we talked about my near car accident.
Oh, yeah. And then the peeing accident.
The peeing?
Yeah, pee your pants. Was that considered an accident?
Wait, we did talk about peeing your pants.
Yeah.
I don't know at that point if it was considered an accident.
Yeah.
Because her name was Susie! I just remembered it! Remember on the episode, Pee Your Pants with Points? I could not remember her name. I'm 25 to 30% sure that her name was Susie.
Wow.
Anyway.
You heard it here first. A woman peed her
Sheldon,
pants.
if you're listening to the podcast, tell me if her name was Susie. Were you at that camp? I don't know. Anyway.
Sheldon, help us out, bro.
Hook us up.
Hook us up.
So anyway, we've been talking about a lot of accidents. Sorry, I was trying to come back around to getting to our questions. I don't know, the most recent formative thing for me, I don't know. It was okay. So
was it buying your house?
No, yeah. We'll say that.
I guess that's a bad use of that word in that context.
For it to be formative?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. All right. Did we only have 3 questions? I feel like we had some more questions.
I thought we had more questions.
It's all right.
But we talked a lot about other kind of random stuff, too.
Yeah, we did.
And I can't remember if I said thank you or not on the last podcast, but a lot of people wrote me really sweet messages on the post.
Let's read a few of them. Because we'll want them to get their 15 minutes of very minor fame. The kind of fame we bring is very
minor.
Yeah. So anyway, Lindsay E. said, "Oh no, how scary. Her advice for you was to go to a chiropractor right away. She said that her car accident ruined her neck and back until she got it looked at." Have you been to the doctor yet? No? Why do you feel guilty about it?
I just feel guilty.
Do you have like soreness or lingering pain?
I'm like kind of, my back is like a little stiff still, so I don't know. So I should take Lindsay's advice.
You gave me your back stiffness, and it's presenting in my eyes.
Yes, I cursed you. I have a very specific type of curse where I take my ailment and then inflict it on someone else in a very different way.
Nice. Man,
it's my obscure superpower.
You're like a really weird kind of witch.
Yeah, I'm a very specific type of witch.
So anyway, I guess you haven't gone to the doctor yet, and you do have some soreness, but you're still okay.
Yeah, still okay. Good. I haven't. It's not like my other crash where I talked about that last time, where I was like, I can't concentrate. Like, looking at a screen is weird. Like, how come I can't do these things? So
yeah,
that was major.
That was another accident in the same episode.
Yeah,
man, we talked about so many accidents recently.
Yes, but yeah, my car accident was still a lot more scary.
Yeah,
but
I wonder, like, in terms of like actual risk, which one you were closer to dying in?
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
Was it your car accident, or was it the accident where you fell into the snow?
I don't know. They both have their own interesting risks. People have died in snowmobiles a lot, I feel like. Usually because it overturns on them.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, that's scary.
But I could see, I guess, cars mostly because you're in a car way more often than you are on a snowmobile.
That's true.
And, it's not just you and the other person. There's a lot of other factors. So,
yeah. I don't know. Well, I mean, you could think about it in terms of percentages, but I wonder about in your specific instances, which one actually had you closer to death.
Yeah, I don't know.
If it were a foot more forward or a foot more backward that you got hit or whatever, would it have been way worse? Or, you know what I mean? Just, there's no way to know. I guess you could, be like some crime scene investigator and run the models or whatever, but... I don't know.
See what it would look like. Yeah, that is interesting to think about. Maybe I just need to have an accident on all sorts of vehicles to find out.
I don't want you to get in any more accidents.
I don't want to have any plane... That would be the most... Because I hate turbulence to begin with. I hate turbulence. I don't like anything to do with flying. Taking off is fun, but once it's the plane is shaking and there's a storm, I hate everything about it. So if it was okay, we're gonna have lightning is gonna strike the plane and you're gonna have to land the plane on water or something, nope, I can't do this.
I don't think lightning striking a plane is dangerous, is it?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think it does happen, and I think it just messes with the electrical stuff.
It might. I don't know.
I don't know.
Because it's not grounded.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing, is the plane isn't grounded, so there's nowhere for the electricity to go.
Yeah.
So it just would go toward the ground. Well, you're not grounded either.
Yeah.
You're not on the ground. You're far up in the air. Miles, maybe.
Mile High Club.
What?
Just kidding, no.
Plain Donuts Nights. Coming soon.
Coming soon.
Not really.
69 full likes and counting.
69 likes and counting. Plain Donuts Nights. It's terrible. It's really bad.
This is kind of we both took a drink at the same time. Sorry, people.
That's kind of unusual.
Yeah.
And then we were silent for a second at the same time.
Yeah, I was no.
So, were you going to say something about Plain Donuts Nights?
Plain Donuts Nights, yeah, I don't know. It's just a lot more not safe for work than usual.
I know. Today we're being real kinky. Real out of control on this podcast today. Talking about stuff in a very vague way so children could hear it and not know what we're talking about.
Except they have the internet, so they probably will.
The kids probably already know.
Yeah. They're like, I know way more than Steve and Alicia do. Gosh, they're so vanilla. Says the 13-year-old boy.
Oh, jeez. You ever heard of David Carradine?
We're vanilla, all right? Just like Steve's creamy white skin.
That's very nice of you to say, and a little bit racial.
Whoa, we better steer away from that. We can't do too many crazy things.
I know, seriously. We talked about politics and weird sex stuff, and...
Yeah, we can't. We can't.
Okay, so Corinne.
Hi, Corinne.
Hi, Corinne. She said, "Scary. I hope Alicia is/will be okay."
Thanks, Corinne. And I am okay.
As okay as anybody can be, I guess. And then Sheldon also said, "I hope she is okay."
Cool.
And Sarah Hanisco, another
Dr.
former
Sarah.
guest on the podcast, Dr. Sarah, said... Sending love.
Just so nice.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah, it's all good. And then you commented, we'll skip that. Just kidding.
Yeah.
You basically just said you're going to the doctor tomorrow, but you didn't do that.
I didn't because I couldn't get an appointment. Just keep making more noises.
Weirder noises. So how far out was your doctor? Did you try to go and they're like, oh, it's going to be a month?
2 weeks, yeah. Which I was kind of annoyed because he's not, I say doctor, but he's a physician's assistant. Not that there's anything wrong with being a physician's assistant. You're just as capable to diagnose and treat people as any other, just like nurse practitioners.
What? So what's the difference? Why?
Physician's assistant, you only do an extra, I've got a hair in my eye. Sorry, jeez. It's looking like a crazy. Yeah, I know. I have to not touch don't touch my eye, or else I'm gonna really have to go to the doctor. But
don't talk about it. I was starting to forget.
Sorry. Yeah, the physician's assistant has to only have like an extra 2 or 3 years outside of your bachelor's, and then you are like underneath a practicing doctor, and that's why it's called like physician's assistant. But doctors, you got to go like through medical school and like be a resident and all that nonsense. I'm not really 100% sure what all doctors have to do.
Yeah, I wonder just what the difference in practice is.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's a good question. We should have a physician's assistant on.
If you're a physician's assistant and want to be our guest, shoot us an email.
Or a nurse practitioner, I guess. If you're a nurse practitioner, you could probably explain to us the difference.
Yeah, or a straight-up nurse. I know some friends that are straight-up nurses, and they're cool.
Nice. Maybe
we should bring them on.
My mom was a nurse, and then she got a master's in nursing informatics, which is like computer nursing.
She's a nurse for computer.
And then she got her doctorate in
computer nursing.
Basically, it's a PhD in nursing philosophy with a focus on informatics, I guess.
Interesting. So, what exactly does that mean?
Well, to get her PhD, she basically she came up with her thesis, which was a theory of wisdom in action or something like that. And she came up with all these different points that influence wisdom and stuff like that. And so she had to do some interviews and all that kind of stuff to come up with what wisdom to sort of define wisdom in terms of how it works in nursing. So it's kind of cool, kind of an interesting study. Oh,
nice blink.
The problem is I still send my mom questions about my health and so for my eyeballs she's like, when should I see a doctor? When will I know if I'm in an emergency situation, or can I just treat this from home? She's like, well, if it's red/painful, so she said if it's red or painful, or if you start having infection symptoms like fever, you should go to the doctor. And I think she said red, painful, or if you have fever symptoms, essentially. And I was like, is that red and painful, or red or painful?
Yeah, because I fit both criteria.
Well, no, I fit the redness, none of the other criteria.
Really?
I didn't have pain or anything, but my eyes pretty red. Yeah. And she's like, that's up to you. Yeah. And I'm like,
what does that mean?
Why is that up to me?
Yeah, I'm not the doctor. You are.
You're literally a doctor of nursing.
Does that make them a doctor or a nurse? Or a nurse doctor or a doctor nurse?
Doctor mom. I don't know.
I'm actually really curious now, because if you're a doctor of nursing, are you a doctor? Or are you a nurse?
Does your mom have her doctorate too? I think you mentioned that one time.
She was really close to getting her doctorate in informational technology.
Oh, cool.
So, which is not
CS.
IT.
Oh, no?
It's actually more like how people write tests, essentially curriculum and things like that. So that was hers. She had a really boring doctorate.
Was she into it?
She liked it, yeah. She wrote all these tests.
Did she retire or something?
No, she's still working. She works for a school district now in Reno or something like that. So,
do they live in Nevada? Or your parents are they divorced?
They're separated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a little family drama.
Yeah,
I guess.
If you want to hear about my family drama, stay tuned for episode 2. Just kidding. I don't know. This is not a continuation episode.
Well, hello. Hey, hi. Hello, Donut Holes. Welcome to the middle of the podcast. This is your co-host, Steve. Hey, just a couple of things. Number one, as per usual, I just want to say thank you very much for listening. You guys are wonderful listeners. You're my favorite. Thank you for responding all the time and just keeping up with us. It's the best. Secondly, I wanted to explain, so we're actually almost about a week behind, sort of, but that's good because we have, I'm going to be out of town for a week coming up, and then right after that we have FireCon, so it's going to be a little bit of a weird couple weeks again for the podcast, but with us being about a week behind, we have podcasts to fill in for the future. So in this case, we are going to be releasing this podcast for this week, and then you'll get another one next week. So at the end of the podcast, we talk about how our schedule's weird and we're trying to get back on track. This is how we're getting back on track. All right, super clear as possible, certainly. Also, if this is your first time listening to the podcast, or if you just need a reminder, you can find old episodes or our social media links all at yourplaindonuts.com. That is YOUR, plaindonuts.com. You can find social media there, old episodes. You can find some video I made once a while back. It was back in November, so you're going to be going for a while. And one other thing that we're doing coming up is FireCon. If you've heard us mention that, you can check it out at FYREcon.com. Basically, it's a convention that's based around like fantasy and sci-fi writing and art. And we're going to go do a live episode there. It's in Layton, Utah. If you want to come, I think they're still taking registrations. You're welcome to show up. Finally, and second to finally, first we'll do second to finally. I mentioned our social media on yourplaindonuts.com. You can always go there to follow us on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. We always will mention that we're recording on Twitter and Facebook. And if you respond through those official Plain Donuts channels, you're much more likely to get mentioned on the podcast. In fact, this last week, the one that will be coming out not this week, but next time. Remember the scheduling thing? Anyway, this last week we had to skip a question that ended up on one of our personal pages just because we ran out of time. So, definitely always go to the official Plain Donuts channels and you'll get your questions read for sure. And we'll answer them and it'll be a hilarious, fun time. And the very last thing is if you could do us one solid and go to iTunes and leave us a rating and review there. That always helps us out in terms of showing Apple that our podcast is valid and people are interested. It may eventually rise us up in those rankings and they will possibly put us in the new and noteworthy section, and then we would get a cool boon in traffic. So that would be excellent. And always, really the best way you can help us out if you want to is just to share the podcast with a friend who you think might like it. So that's the best way to grow something. People aren't usually interested in stuff just because they see it advertised, but they're very interested if they hear that a friend liked it. So would love for you to share with your friends. All right, this has been a long interlude. I wanted to explain some of the scheduling stuff. Always you can hit us up on Facebook or Twitter if you have any questions, even outside of when we're recording. We're pretty good at responding. So cool. Enjoy the rest of the show. So anyway, speaking of family dramas and impactful life events, the questions we asked last week that we didn't get to because Alicia's story took so long. Yeah. Jeez, Alicia. Gosh. No, that it's fine. I kind of thought we would take the whole time with the story. Yeah. Which is cool to me. I like that. I like that it had a narrative. I thought that was neat in terms of practicality for a podcast episode. But anyway, we're like S-Town except for we actually ended. We're sick burn. Oh, come and get me, NPR. come and fight me. Come at us, cereal. Yeah, seriously. Bet you can't. Nice. They're really intimidated with that great pun. Oh, sorry. So anyway, yeah, it was nice. But we asked the question, where we asked about impactful things. Give us some questions or comments or whatever about impactful things. Get it? Impact? Yeah. Impact? Because you got hit by another car? You almost died? Yeah. Get it? And it was funny because when Steve was making an episode image for something, the font, I was like, is the font Impact? Oh, yeah. And then I thought later, that's funny after the crash. Oh, jeez. We could use Impact. Anyway. With a bold, dark line around it and turn it into a meme. A meme. All of our episode images are just memes now. Really lame memes that really don't make bad anything. Ones. Continuously worse memes. Yeah. That's the name of my new podcast.
Continuously worse memes. You like venture beyond the dank meme territory. Go beyond.
We're now in the deep meme section.
Deep meme. It's like the deep web.
I see a lot of Pepes.
That's all Pepes in here. There's nothing else.
Just a lot of frogs.
Outside of the deep web is just Pepes.
So many toads around here. So anyway. Nate A.
Hey, Nate.
His question was, if you died right now, what would be the biggest regret of something you haven't done or finished yet? P.S. I'm happy you're okay, Alicia.
Oh, thanks, Nate.
Have you thought about this question?
Biggest regret? A little bit. I think my biggest regret would probably be not taking more chances in my life, which sounds kind of weird, but I don't know, like, you know those, like, little moments where your friend's like, hey, we're gonna take a spontaneous trip to Wendover, you want to come? Or, you know, like, hey, I know it's 2 a.m., but you want to go grab In-N-Out or something, you know, just, like, saying, no,
I would always say yes to stuff like that.
I don't know, but, like,
where it's just, like, a little thing in the, or whatever.
Or, like, little trips or something.
Yeah.
Like, stuff like that. I'd be like, oh, I wish I did more of that. So,
you wish you had more spontaneity in your,
and I guess that's why I'm trying to, like, travel more, just because, I don't know, I really enjoyed traveling when I was a lot younger, and I feel like I kind of stagnated out of that. So I was like, I want to see more of the world.
I really would like to see that, too. I don't know, for me, like, I would regret, at this moment in my life, there's so much stuff that I want to make, and not much of it have I been able to make. I think I would regret not producing all the stuff that I want to do. That's kind of weird.
Do you have anything in mind, like, specifically? Because I know you're doing a lot of, like, you write music and you're, like, writing a book or several books or short stories, you know, like, you do all sorts of things.
So I would want to finish my novel, like, I don't know, it's all progression, right? Like, I'd like to finish my novel, but really I'd like to publish my novel.
Yeah.
Which, that's much more than just finishing, right? Because then I always am really hesitant about it because I'm not sure if it's even any good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe it's just really derivative and crappy, but it's like 50,000 words in, so I'm like dedicated, you know, over the last 7 or 8 years or something. I've just been picking at it for a while. I'll go in spurts where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna write on this, and then it will be like a different season, and I'll be like, no, I'm not interested in that right now. And which is part of my problem, is that I'm so what's the word? Flighty, I guess. I tend to work on one thing and then move to a different thing and then move to a different thing and never finish anything. So
hey, that's what all those dudes did back in olden times too. Like Da Vinci and Michelangelo, they're like notorious for not actually finishing things, and people are like, come back and finish this, please, you know, and they're like, I don't really want to work on that anymore. I want to work on this new thing.
Have you? I mean, I'm very much like Da Vinci and Michelangelo, except nobody cares what I make. So
if only we went to like really fancy, expensive Florentine art schools in like the
1700s
or the 1400s.
You know, my biggest regret in life would be not being born in the 1400s and going to a fancy Florentine art school.
Mine too.
Man, I really wish I would have done that.
I wish I could have been born then. Although if I would have been born then, I've been, you know, I'd be a girl in that society, and, you know, I would not be able to do anything. I'd just be, like, expected to stay home and make lots of little Florentine babies.
Oh, so you'd be, like, happy?
I don't know. I'm
just kidding.
Damn!
I'm joking.
Damn!
I'm just joking. That's so bad.
That's so funny.
I was just playing the character of someone who's very bad on the internet. I don't know.
Steve's just finally showing his true colors.
I wasn't. People will think that. That's the thing. At large enough scale, people would think that comment was serious. But it wasn't! So anyway.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, my phone closed.
You're so
no! It's too late. I missed the moment.
You very much missed the moment. Alicia was going to do an air horn.
I was going to do my air horn, but it was too late.
Way too late. It's too late to blow your air horn.
It's too late.
Ryan Tedder's like writing the lyrics down, and he's like, that doesn't
really work.
Blow your air horn doesn't fit right
cross there. Cross that
out, yeah. Yes. So I guess we've named our regrets.
Yeah.
Did you?
Our regrets, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you named yours more. You want to experience life more, and I just want to, like do more things, I guess. Make more stuff.
We both want to do more things and make more things.
I guess.
I'm writing something, too, that I'd like to... I want to finish. Just because when I write something... Like, when I write things, if I'm reading through it and I am like, I don't necessarily, like, enjoy this, like, I'm not going to be interested in it. Like, you know... Back in school, like, writing papers and things, like, this is garbage stuff because I don't want to read this. But now I'm, like, writing something like, oh, this is something I would actually want to read.
Yeah.
So I want to finish it so then at least I could do, like, a read-through completely and be like, oh, that was something that I enjoyed. So.
Yeah. Well, you're lucky that you read fast. Because I would be, like, I don't read slowly, but I would read through my own stuff and be like, I know what's gonna happen already. So, anyway, that's not totally true because I'm sure if I were to go to like the route of publishing a novel, I would have to read it a lot in order to like rewrite certain sections, and if I wanted to do any story editing, and obviously I would want to do like very particular. I would want to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Are you, mini tangent, are you the type of writer that has to write something from beginning to end? Like, you don't skip ahead to scenes ahead of the novel?
Mostly, yeah. Okay. I just write, I write in succession, mostly.
Yeah, I'm definitely, like, I outline and I, like, write scenes that are like, oh, this is going to be like a poignant scene, and I like have that, and I have the end, and then I just need to fill it in, but then I don't want to just like do filler because that's gross. So then I kind of rewrite a lot, anyways. Yeah,
for me, I tend right now my focus has been when I've actually sat down to write, just getting through the outline because I have a pretty thorough outline of where I want to go with things. And I actually have ideas for, like, continuations on the series, but, like, that doesn't matter if I can't even get the first dang thing done. But, like, so my focus right now is just to get through it. And my biggest problem is that, like, I can get really focused on the details of the prose and, like, very specific in the sentences that I'm working on, right? As opposed to just writing to get the story out and then coming back later and doing all of that reworking. Because I could probably do that all day on a little thing and just be like, okay, this doesn't sound quite right. This, like... So I want to get caught up in those details, but I actually really just want to finish the thing. That what I really want in my heart is to get all the way through.
Right.
In the moment, I want to work on the details. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. It's kind of interesting how people's process is different.
Yeah. Okay, so Jameson, our homie Jameson, who has been traveling recently.
He is in Alaska right now, I believe.
He asked, what has been your most impactful trip or location? Could be family, personal, missional, whatever. Yeah. My dog is...
You want to contribute to this?
I know. I think she has to go outside. She's always like, hey, hey! She's the worst because she'll, like, yell. She gets in your face all the time.
It's kind of like my dog, too. He's just like, hey, hey.
Yeah.
Hey. Like, what do you want? You want food? Most of the time it's food. And it's like, I just fed you, so leave me alone. But you want more food.
Dogs are very focused on food and going to the bathroom.
Food motivated.
So, anyway, your most impactful trip.
Yeah.
Or location.
This is going to sound cheesy, and you guys know me typically to be not a cheesy, romantic type at all, but I really had fun when I went to Scotland with Otto, because that was his first time out of the country, and it was fun to, like, have that experience with him.
That's awesome.
That's like our biggest trip, I guess, as a couple, so that was really fun just to do, like... my cousin let us borrow his car, and we drove all around and, like, really got to experience, like, that culture, I guess. Mm-hmm. So it was really cool.
Cool. For me, I haven't been to a lot of places, unfortunately. Like, I'd really like to travel more. I think I spent like 2 weeks in Mexico when I lived in Phoenix. That was really cool. We were mostly there for like church stuff, like a missions trip kind of thing. So it was a lot of focus on that kind of thing. But it was really interesting to see like just we kind of like lived in the proximity of families there. Mm-hmm. So we kind of just hung out with them most of the time, and that was kind of neat. Cool. That was a cool experience. Interestingly, probably, and this is so lame and weird, but we went to El Paso, Texas at one point, and
El Paso is actually pretty different compared to at least where we live, like in multiple ways. So that's totally fair to say that's like a really different place.
Yeah, the El Paso trip was really interesting for me. Like, just it was funny because one of the first nights we were there, like I was just with a bunch of guys, right? And like we started like wrestling around or something, and I don't know why we had an ice pack there, but like this guy got on my back, and I like reached around with the ice pack and like hit him in the head and made him fall off my back, and I was like, I've never felt powerful before.
It's like a movie moment, like when Jackie Chan's been tackled and he's just like grabs the nearest object and like, you know.
Yeah. So that was dumb and fun, and then like it was a really cool trip. We got to meet up with some people who were like in El Paso, that's where they were like located or whatever, kind of not stationed, but it's hard to explain. But anyway, they were cool, and like one of the guys gave me like this 200 peso coin or whatever, and like was really complimentary about me personally, and I was like, oh, that's so nice of you, like I'll keep this forever, and it's still somewhere around here. But yeah, it was kind of like it was a cool. El Paso was weirdly a cool experience for me. And then one of the nights we went and got, or I think before we left, the pastor of the church that we were working with took all of us out to steaks at a Texas steakhouse.
El Paso steakhouse.
Yeah, and that was pretty cool. So yeah, it was really fun. Actually, the sucky thing about that is that that same pastor's daughter was part of our group, and later she got leukemia and ended up like she went through like a year-long process struggling with it, and then she died later. So it was like it's kind of weird too, because like that trip was really good for me, but also like that location sort of has some emotional ties to me anyway. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Her and I weren't super close, but we were friends, you know, and like
How old were you at the time?
19, I think. I was 19 years old at that time, and then I was 27 or so, I think, or 28 when she died. So I might have been closer to 30 now that I think about it, but I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of weird. It's weird how like different places can affect people, you know. Like that American Gods show is on right now.
I haven't seen any episodes.
I haven't either. I've read the book, and it's a really interesting book because it takes place in like all kinds of different locations. Yeah. Like the character just travels to all these different places, and so like it makes me think about. And actually, like that was part of the process for Neil Gaiman writing the book, is he went to all these different places and like experienced them kind of like as he wrote it.
And was it specifically in the United States?
Yeah.
Too? Okay.
Mm-hmm. That was kind of the whole point, was like it was in America.
Yeah. And
I guess you have to come up with a catchy title, so you can't call it like United States of American Gods or whatever.
Interesting. Are you thinking about, I know you kind of mentioned to me this a little bit before. Have you thought about maybe like traveling around with Melissa? Mm-hmm. Like, because I know she said she wanted to kind of check out like some stuff in the South too, like Tennessee, or I can't remember.
We really want to go, I think probably to Nashville.
Yeah.
Hopefully this year. Like
that show Master Done with Aziz Ansari?
Yeah. Hey, pop culture. We're so pop culture-y right now. Hey. But yeah, like that, it seems like a really fun time. Just go have some barbecue, and there's like music every night if you want to just go find it. Yeah. It seems like it's a fun town to just visit, right? Yeah. And we could figure out like museums or whatever to go see. Man, Master of None is really good. I just watched the second season.
So yeah.
I
haven't watched any of the second season yet, but I finishing up the first season. And, oh man.
It's great. It's
so
great.
Good.
It's a really great show.
If Lin-Manuel Miranda doesn't start messaging me on Twitter, I might just have to find a new bae. Is Aziz Ansari.
Aziz Ansari is baller. Man, we should start messaging him and be like, we might be abandoning Lin-Manuel for Aziz.
And then, oh my gosh, what if Lin-Manuel Miranda and Aziz Ansari got in a Twitter fight?
That'd be so... We created Twitter beef. They're fighting over
us, our really insignificant small podcast.
Yes!
Actually, that would be really interesting because both of those guys are really clever.
Yeah, so, that would be fun.
That would be a really good beef.
What if they actually do have beef, but they're just both... Their public personas are too nice?
Yeah.
So they can't, actually talk about their beef ever? And so,
that'd be amazing!
Lin-Manuel and Aziz actually don't like each other.
Oh my gosh, now I, need to find out if they...
If they have ever met or anything.
Yeah.
Wikipedia. Wikipedia wouldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Who's really into... Oh, Cola. She might know.
Oh, that's right. She might know.
Yeah.
Did you know that you could do the what is it? Kevin Bacon, the 6 steps to bacon or whatever.
Degrees,
yeah, you can look up people's degrees from Kevin Bacon just on Google.
Really?
You can
That's
just
hilarious.
type in a celebrity's name and Google will be like, there are this many degrees from Kevin Bacon.
That's funny.
It's pretty nuts. Yeah, we have to figure out if they've ever done anything together at all. I mean, Aziz lived in New York.
Yeah.
And Lin-Manuel's always lived in New York, except for this recent jaunt in London.
Yeah, and I didn't see him, and I was really upset. So I wore my Lin-Manuel Miranda pin that Steve and Melissa gave me the entire time, and so I was so ready.
Awesome.
I was so ready to meet him, and I got a lot of compliments on that pin. Actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
that's excellent.
That was a really great present. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Really happy to hear that. Okay, so let's get to the final question.
Final question. Drum roll.
Yeah, you gave your answer about Ireland. The final question is from Tyler W.
Tyler the creator? No way.
Well,
sure.
Tyler is a creator of sorts. He said, I just know him. He said, what event or series of events led you to choosing the career that you're in today? Also, I hope everything's all right, Alicia.
Hey, thanks. A series of unfortunate events led me to my current career choice because I got laid off.
Well, tell us from high school to where you're at now.
Oh, geez.
Maybe just the overall.
Okay. I think I don't know. It was weird because I guess I kind of imagined I would be in advertising.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how much time we've been recording. So.
1 hour and 3 minutes.
Oh, geez. Okay. I'll be a little bit quick. But, so I've always been, I mentioned this before, I've always been an artist and, into creating art, specifically, two-dimensional stuff, and, a little bit of digital. Mm-hmm. Not really, a ton.
Yeah.
But I never imagined myself in, a position where instead of, actually making those digital ads or whatever, I'd be, on the other, side of it, I guess, of I'm the buyer of those ads or the seller or whatever, you know. So it's kind of weird, because I guess it's kind of the vein of marketing and advertising. You kind of, all these people who are into art just kind of get thrown in there along with communications majors, and it's just all mushed together. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden it's boop, here you go, here's an advertising marketing person, and here's what they look like over here. And so I don't know, it's just always kind of you end up doing things that are similar, but a little bit different. So, I don't know. It's kind of a weird journey.
So, from art, you kind of got into just sort of the account management kinds of things. You just happened to fall into that. I think at MarketStar originally, right? Can we say that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can say MarketStar, yeah. Okay. So, it was a little bit of account management. Or it was account management there, mm-hmm. but account management is not my favorite, if that's okay to say.
Yeah.
But I guess to who my current coworkers who are listening. But it's I really like what I'm doing now, actually, mm-hmm. just because I'm the type of person that, you know, I'm not like a type A personality, but I really like coming into work, knowing what to expect every day, knowing exactly what's expected of me, and I have clear goals that I need to set, because when you're an account manager, the goal is kind of vague, as in like make client A happy and make client B happy with these things.
I see what you're saying.
And that can be hard, and because I am like more of a people pleasing type of personality, so I'm like, I have to like really make sure that they like me, and, you know. So now it's like, I can make these people down the line like me if I do my job well here, which is pretty, like, the expectations are super clear, so I can do that, so.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know, for me, so after high school, I went to Phoenix for this training that was, like, it's essentially, like, training for people who are going to be in, like, ministry, right? Like pastors or whatever. And then right after that, I went to a youth pastor position in a church here in Layton, and like that wasn't really a paid position. They said they would give me like a couple $100 a month or something, but that was very sporadic. I didn't actually get that, but I was committed.
Yeah.
So so that was cool. But about 6 months into that, the leadership sat me and this other couple down who had worked with us, and were basically saying like, we have to shut down. We have to move back to California. We don't have any money. And I was like, okay, this sucks and is weird. So then I got a job at Discover Card while thinking, okay, what I'm going to do is write a bunch of songs and become a professional musician, right?
Wow.
So
what a career change.
Yeah, so I was working phones at Discover Card, and I was pretty good at it because it was really kind of easy sales kind of work.
Yeah.
And I was working on music a lot, and like I don't know why that never really panned out. Then I got another job doing inside sales, which was a lot more like actual sales work than I had been doing. I wasn't very good at it, but I kept that job for a long time. Yeah, it was kind of rough. And it was selling classified ads for a small like local paper. So it wasn't like big money or anything like that.
Big money.
So then I had like we got married, and I had kind of like an epiphany one day where I was like, I got to figure out something that's going to make me some money. I can't just be in debt and poor forever. So like,
what? No way.
So like, and I was like, this music thing probably isn't going to work. Like that, just the odds are so low. There's got to be something else I can get into, and then maybe do music later or something, right? Which is probably like a dream killing idea, but I was in debt and I didn't know what to do. So like,
that's kind of what's like the expected thing, though, right? Of people, they're like, "Well, you gotta give up this because obviously, that's unrealistic." Or
and it wouldn't be unrealistic so much if I had figured out how to just make a little money and keep myself going. But in my youth pastor position, I got myself into a lot of debt. So I was in a lot to me at the time. Now I'm kind of like, it wasn't really that much debt, but then I was like, oh, this is an insurmountable debt, right? And so like, I was like, I got to make some money. So what I really wanted to do initially was get into design. Like because I was like, I've used Photoshop before. I can learn the programs pretty easily. I think I have an eye. But in doing that, I started seeing like Flash stuff that I thought was really cool, like Flash animations and that kind of thing. So I started like working on Flash animations. Actually, I've thought about this a little bit. Around the same time that Aaron Hansen from the Game Grumps was like getting really popular doing Flash animations on like Newgrounds and stuff, that's around the time that I was starting to get into Flash. But I went into down the path of like programming, because with Flash you could do stuff, but you could also do stuff with code, and you could tie all that, like the animations and the code together and actually make cool websites and stuff. So that's what I started learning to do. And then I got a job doing that, which did not pay very well at all for that job, because it's a programming job. It should have paid more, but it was more than I was making at the time, and I was like, whatever, it gets my foot in the door. And so I started out in programming, doing Flash programming, and then I got into web stuff along with that. And I had been kind of into like CSS and HTML when I was a teenager, right? But like not really seriously. And then I started getting more into it as part of my job. And then I got hired on at a different, so I initially was at an advertising agency doing like one-off Flash ads and that kind of stuff. I made some really cool ads in my opinion, but like, I don't know, it's Flash, so nobody cares anymore. So I had to learn like programming in different languages, and I did that and got a job at a different agency and did work for like, we did some stuff for like Toyota and like big brands, which was really cool. We worked a lot with Jack in the Box. And it was kind of neat to do that. And then, like, but I started feeling like, you know, I've never done, like, real software development. I've always just been kind of like a cowboy programmer where I'm like, I'll make a website. It might have bugs, but who cares? Get it out the door, you know, that kind of thing. So I had a friend who was in a software development environment, essentially the place I work now, where we basically build software to sell health insurance. That's kind of like the whole goal, health and Medicare insurance. And so, like, but they were in a real like software development environment, and I was like, I want to get that experience. I want to learn how to do that. And so I interviewed with them, like not having worked in the language that they primarily used before. And I was like, I know these web technologies. I don't know this server-side language. I know other server-side languages, but I can learn this one. And so they hired me, and that's what I've been doing for the last 4 years or so.
Nice. So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Maybe this is for me too. What was the first significant salary jump for you? Because for me, it was when I first started working at MarketStar, because I was making like $9 an hour as like a parking meter police person at Weber State, and you know, it's kind of like doing that to like, oh, you're making like $30K a year was like mind blowing to me. Yeah. I was like, oh my, that's so much money, you know? And now people are like, oh, that's like lower middle class or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So, but it's...
So the first experience I had, because when I was a youth pastor, I was making $0 essentially, right? And so like, I had prior to that worked at like Blockbuster and, you know, like teenage jobs making $9 an hour maybe. So when I started working at Discover Card, I think they started around $11 an hour, if I remember correctly. And I was like, that's pretty good. You know, like to me, I was like, that's pretty significant. But the real first significant salary bump was when I left that first agency job to the next agency job. The pay increase was very significant because the first one did not pay well. So the pay increase was really significant to the point where at that time my wife was going through like some stuff where some medical problems. Her legs were basically like eating themselves. It's called vasculitis. It was really crappy, and she ended up having to go to the doctor and then having like a course of wound care and stuff like that after the fact. And so because of that, the doctor was like, you can't work in the job you're working right now. She was working in retail where she had to stand the whole time. And they're like, you just can't. Your legs will, you'll hurt yourself, basically. And so she was like, I can't. So she was on short-term disability for a while. And then when she went back to her job for like, it was kind of like they were sort of reintroducing her to it because she's like, I can't work as much as I was, but I want to start working again. The doctor says I can do this. They were like weird about it. The management culture had started to become kind of toxic anyway, even before all this stuff happened. So she was like hating it. She was like, this sucks. It's really terrible. I hate this. I hate being under the management I'm under. They're not treating me well. They're not understanding the condition that I'm currently in. And so I was like, well, you don't have to work there. Like, I just started this other job that was essentially covered everything that she made anyway. And I was like, you don't have to. Like, you can just stop doing that, you know? And so, like, she did. And that was, like, it was crazy for us because suddenly we could like schedule things. Retail's insane. You work weird hours till 10 p.m. and
you don't know your schedule like ahead of time too, so planning things is really tough.
So suddenly we could just be like, oh, there's something in the evening on this day. We can do that
thing.
You know? Like, so that was a really significant life change for us. Like it was kind of crazy. So
Otto worked in retail for a while. It really sucked, especially during like holiday season too. It's like, oh, any holiday that we want to celebrate? Just kidding, you can't because he's got to work like 12 hours that day throughout the whole
Thanksgiving
holiday.
Was the worst.
Like
because
Black Friday sort of situation.
It would always be like, oh, what this is. The day after Thanksgiving, that's when you hang out and do stuff with your family. And she's like, nope, that's the day I work. And you cannot take it off. You know what I mean? Like, they were basically like, nobody gets this day off. If you happen to get Black Friday off, you're very lucky. So, And it wasn't like, it was weird, like you couldn't request it off.
Yeah.
So weird stuff. But anyway, that was for me, that was the most like, that was the time where our quality of life really changed. Yeah. Right. We still struggled with money. We kind of do still struggle with money, just because I'm not very good at like staying far enough below our means. So like we're always like around the edge of our means, if that makes sense. And so like it's my own fault. I need to get better at that. Anyway, cool. Thanks for all the questions, everybody.
Yeah,
I'm glad we could get to them. And this is going to be a weird week because this is going to be our second release of the week.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to put this one out until maybe a couple days from now, so that we can actually promote the earlier episode that we released this week.
So kinda, doing it.
Yeah,
doing things.
It's been happening. Really crazy. I kind of can't believe we recorded tonight with what's going on with my eyes exploding.
I was kind of like, Steve, we can put this off, but then I think it was your sister's birthday tomorrow, and like it would have just been like, that would have been a Thursday recording again, and so I don't know, we're trying to get back on.
We're trying to get back on schedule.
It's hard.
So, cool. Thanks, everybody. It's been really fun. We'll talk to you later.